Hey everybody, it has been a long time. I know I've been a bad boy. I got a few things as far as maintenance to talk about, and if you want to skip to the main talk, just go to this time right here. It's been a long time, I know, and I apologize again. I've been grateful, as I've been saying for a long time, and I think that it's just been hard for me to make videos because the editing process has become so much unnecessarily hard. So I have to go from one computer, put it on this, download it to the next one. So sorry. Okay, but I do want you to know I am still alive. I am still making videos, as slow as they are. And there's a few things that I just wanted to, get out there, get off my chest. I'm coming to you from my classroom. I'm coming to you from another part of my classroom. It's been a while. The last one that I showed that was in the classroom, it was slightly different. And I thought it might be interesting to teach some of the lessons that I teach to my kids to just you in general. So this will be basically for, mostly aiming at young men, because I think that young men are the ones who kind of need help these days, or the ones that I feel like I'm at least qualified to help. So my series here on philosophy is going to focus on that. And so what are we going to talk about today? Well, there's a lesson that I taught at the end of last year, but I only taught it to students who have gone through 4 years in my class. So 4 years of Japanese. And it was just a special quick thing that I wanted to teach them. And usually, honestly speaking, demographically speaking, the ones who do the best in my class are all Asian girls. So it doesn't matter if they're Korean, Chinese, whatever it is, they tend to do just the best. Last year, I had a group of 3 young guys who were just amazing students. And so I sat them down and I taught them this lesson that I want to teach to you. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm kind of obsessed with yin and yang, and that's the basis of my philosophy. Dualities, right? Going too far in either direction is a bad thing, right? Because it gets to extremes in those directions, so you want to find balance. And if you ask me what's the problem in today's society, today's America where I live, I think that things are getting kind of out of whack and imbalanced. I don't think that people are bothering to listen to each other. It's either, one team wins or the other team wins, and it seems like it's just two extremes. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of wisdom in there. And so I'd like to at least, talk about the subject and help people at least think about these things, talk about these things. So, as I said, I think that life is duality. I think that it's a balance between the two things. And in this day and age, something that I see that it subtly horrifies me is that people don't seem to understand the difference between fact, reality, and opinions. It's a really bizarre thing, and I think that really the news media that you see is a big contributing factor to this. Whenever you get to any websites like MSN or Yahoo or whatever it is, you see a slew of articles, and it's really hard for people to kind of sort through what is fact, what is reality, and what is just really good window dressing, right? And I think that's a much more serious problem than we think of it as. The ultimate principle for every human being is survival. So people are going to do, what they can do to survive, what they can do to get more resources. And it seems like before, when I was growing up, again, it could be just me, myself, being young and not understanding the way the system works. But it seems to me like back then, back in the 80s, 90s, that news organizations, they had the incentive to tell the truth, or they had the incentive to, inform people. And it seemed like there was a mature understanding between, news and readership. But it could be me. It could be that it's always been this kind of dirty game where people are just trying to kind of cash in selfish ways. It could be. It could just be that I was too young to actually know the difference. But if you are watching today's news media, it just seems like it's awful. Like every news source is going to give you a very biased position, right? And so it ends up just being like one tribe yelling at the other tribe, and it never ends because they're never going to listen to each other. So I wanted to, when I was talking to these young guys who had graduated, I wanted to kind of ground them in reality. And I have a simple lesson for you. And really, if I just show it to you immediately, if you're a student who pays attention, you'll get it immediately, right? It's essentially my 2-coin lesson. And if you're paying attention already, okay, you can tell what the lesson is. But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it just so we can kind of fully flesh it out. So I've got 2 coins in my hand, both of which I got from Japan. This one on my left, okay, the camera's right, whatever. It is Koban. So just look at it. This right here, this coin is called Tempo Tsuho. And again, look at it. Look at both of them and tell me what you notice. So hopefully it's pretty clear by now. You have one coin that is shiny, shiny gold, right? But it's fake, right? It's made out of steel. It has a nice sound to it, but it's not made of gold, right? It's just something shiny. It gets your attention, right? And I think that relates to what we're talking about as far as fact versus reality. So a lot of times you'll watch the news and you don't understand, but they're putting something in front of you that's emotionally appealing. They're flashing something gold in front of your eyes and hoping it gets your attention. And the thing is, it often does, right? Because people can't seem to separate, okay, fact from what they want to be real or, you know, some deeply held opinion of theirs. Whereas this coin right here, okay, this coin, as I said, is called Tempo Tsuho. This comes from samurai era Japan. This coin is about 100, maybe 150 years old. And look at it. It doesn't have that brilliant shine, that brilliant sheen to it, does it? Right? It doesn't sparkle, it doesn't catch the eye, it just seems kind of like a dull, faded color. But it's profound. It has a weight to it, it has an age to it, it has a reality to it that the shiny, shiny coin doesn't. So in this classroom, in fact, in this building, this single thing that I'm holding in my hand is the oldest man-made object in at least this room. I don't know if there's any other teacher who, you know, collects, you know, things from older eras, but in this room, everything that you can see, I've got some beautiful art in the background. Everything, the building itself, nothing in here is as old as this coin, right? So there's a profundity to it. And there's a profundity to facts. There's a profundity to facts and logic over the shiny, shiny pseudo-reality, right? It was maybe, 3 or 4 months ago, it could be more, I'm not sure, but sometime, I think this year, I remember the US government released their information on UFOs. And it was just funny how the public didn't care about it in the least, you know? It was not such a big deal, like some news outlets had covered it, they talked about it, but really nobody cared. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because, again, the pseudo-reality of something like, your favorite Marvel movie, your favorite Star Wars movie, that generates so much more excitement, even though it's completely fake. I love Star Wars. I grew up with it, you know? I love all of these shiny, shiny things. But at some point, you know, you want to know what's real. And what's real is profound. That's the difference, you know? So if there is like real evidence of real like aliens, UFOs, that is super profound, but it's funny how nobody seems to care about it. Whereas people are much more concerned with the phony, the false, the fake. And it, on some level, it really just, I don't know how to say it best, it kind of just disturbs me. I just keep on thinking, like, what's going to happen in a future where people just chase the shiny, shiny pseudo-reality and they don't care about actuality because actuality is boring to them. It's boring. It's old, it's faded. But again, that's what makes it so profound. And you think about this. One thing that I said to those same kids, those 3 young men who graduated, I said, look, you can't take anything for granted. And the number one thing we take for granted, you know what it is? The number one thing that we take for granted is being alive. So I'm alive right now. Every moment that I'm alive is profound and it's amazing, because it's not going to be like that forever. In fact, it's a tiny, tiny little blink of an eye compared to the world around us. And so I'm trying to spend my life appreciating it, appreciating the chances that I was given, appreciating, the delicious food I get to eat, the good friends I get to talk to, seeing my son grow. Those are profound things. But they're things that people just seem to take for granted. And I don't know, it's just kind of sad to me. Whenever I see news media these days, I see a bunch of people chasing flashy gold coins, not caring about reality so much. And I think that eventually that leads to catastrophe. But, I don't want to get into that now too deeply. I think that you get the point, right? So that is my advice. That is my kind of like short clip lecture about what to focus on in life. You're not going to be alive forever. So every single moment that you are alive, it's an amazing thing. I can take a snapshot of it with a video like this, and I can put that video online, and the video can outlast me, right? So the things that we make can outlast us, and that's a good thing. We can pass on lessons in this way. But the moments that you're alive, don't take them for granted. And whenever you're watching news media, cut straight down to the bone, right? Don't be so fooled by what's shiny, emotional, and on the surface, right? Dig down deep to the root of it, because that's where the reality lies. And you're alive. That's a profound thing, that we take for granted on a daily basis. Well, anyway, I hope that helped. I hope that was fun. I want to hear what you think about these things down in the comments. And I'm still alive. I'm still kicking. And I'll keep making videos. はい。見てくれてありがとう。さようなら。